June 27, 2025. Mark this. This isn't just some random point in time. It's an appointment, one etched into the fabric of your existence before you even drew breath. You haven't arrived here by chance. You've been handpicked with deliberate intention by a force greater than us for this very moment. And I get it, that word handpicked can feel like a ton of bricks. Maybe you feel utterly unprepared. Maybe the ghosts of your past keep whispering you're not good enough. But listen to me, and listen well. You weren't singled out because you're flawless. You were singled out because you possess something vital, something this world is starving for. All this while, life has been subtly, sometimes agonizingly, molding you. That period of being alone, it wasn't a punishment, it was your training ground. While others chased the spotlight, you were being refined in the shadows. While others sprinted forward, you were guided to pause. That hold-up was divinely orchestrated because what's stirring inside you demands profoundness. It demands resilience. It demands that quiet before the storm. And guess what? The quiet is over. There's an undeniable power in perfect timing. You might have felt invisible, but the universe or God or whatever name you give it never lost sight of your path. Everything that was kept under wraps is about to burst into view. Every question that weighed you down is about to find its answer. This is the very reason you couldn't throw in the towel, even when every fiber of your being screamed to. This is why your inner fire refused to be snuffed out when life did its best to bury you. You weren't designed to shatter. You were built to ascend. And here you stand, not as a casualty of what's been, but as a conduit for what's to come. This is the moment your very soul has yearned for. The world needs your courageous eyes now more than ever, so stand firm, not with ego, but with a deep, divine assurance. You were handpicked, you were dispatched, and now it's showtime. Glance back just for a second, not to get stuck there, but to truly absorb how far you've journeyed. The blizzards, the seasons of deafening silence, the betrayals that offered no closure. The nights you cried into the void and heard only echo. Those weren't just painful episodes. They were masterclasses in disguise. They were your boot camp. You were being polished, not discarded. And though it might have felt like your world was caving in, what was actually happening was a breaking open, a clearing for something far greater to emerge from your core. It's tempting to buy into the lie that hardship means you're cursed or abandoned. But in reality, those shadowed valleys were hallowed ground. They were forging your character, stretching your staying power, and burning off every single thing that couldn't accompany you to your next chapter. There's a profound reason you didn't get your desires on your schedule. You weren't being denied, you were being cultivated. You had to let go of certain connections to discover your true north. You had to brave solitude to clearly hear that inner guidance without the static. You had to encounter friction so your belief could deepen beyond the superficial. And now, you're tougher, sharper, more centered, yet more certain. You carry a wisdom now that can't be learned in ease. It had to be forged in the flames. All this time, you weren't being penalized. You were being readied for a mission only a select few are equipped to bear. Don't fight the process. It was your proving ground. And now that the preparation phase is complete, you can step forward with unshakable clarity. Embracing this truth, the very pain that tried to dismantle you has become the bedrock that will support your life's work. There arrives a point when what's been concealed must be brought to light, not just for others, but for you. You've carried questions like stones in your heart. Why was I made to feel so different? Why this feeling of being an outsider? Why did doors slam shut for me when they swung wide for others? Now the answers are bubbling to the surface, because when the destined moment arrives, the truth refuses to stay buried. The mist clears, and you begin to see with crystal clarity what your spirit has instinctively known all along. You were never intended to just fit in. You were marked, summoned, and separated for a purpose that transcends the everyday. That's why the well-trodden paths felt wrong for you. That's why you couldn't just go with the flow. Your soul resonated with a truth that clashed with the world's illusions. And for a long, long time, you might have doubted your own worth, failing to realize that the very aspects that made you feel out of place were the signposts of your calling. But now, the curtain is being ripped away. The mirages are dissolving. The authentic truth of who you are and what you're here to accomplish is surging upwards. The world tried to label you as too intense or not quite there. But now the understanding dawns. You are precisely who you were meant to be. And the parts of you once misunderstood are the very qualities that will guide others to their own awakening. This is the hour of revelation, of stepping into your undiluted identity. What was once hidden is now being proclaimed. So open your eyes wide, steady your resolve, and trust what is being unveiled to you. Because once the truth is truly seen, you can never return to ignorance. There's a juncture in every soul's journey when the divine declares, "No, Not when you feel perfectly polished, not when circumstances look ideal, but when your spirit has weathered, ripened, and aligned with the gravity of your assignment. That juncture is here. Your spiritual elevation has been green lit, not by human approval, not by fancy titles or applause, but by the unseen dimension that has silently witnessed your steadfastness. You didn't clamor for recognition, you chose integrity. You didn't cut corners, you stuck to the path less traveled. And though it came at a cost, though it seemed like you were falling behind, the reality is you were being lifted in ways unseen. And now that season is concluded. The transformation has occurred in the spiritual realm, and soon it will materialize in your everyday life. The authority you now command, the serenity you exude, the insight you articulate, it will no longer be overlooked. This isn't about self-importance or status, it's about responsibility. With elevation comes greater accountability, wider influence, and stronger safeguarding. You are no longer operating from a place of mere survival, you are executing a divine blueprint. The right people, the necessary resources, the open pathways, they're not coincidences. They are elements of your mission falling into place. You've transitioned from anticipation to action, from wishing to knowing. You don't need to justify yourself any longer. Your impact will be undeniable. The light you carry will reveal what is genuine. Move forward not as someone hoping for a chance, but as someone already tasked by a power far beyond the mundane. Because once heaven sanctions your next level, no earthly force can obstruct it. Now that the summons has been issued and the advancement granted, there's zero room for wavering. You must step into unreserved commitment, not half-hearted, not conditional, but absolute. This isn't the moment for self-doubt or seeking yet another sign. You've heard the call, you've seen the indicators, you've felt that stirring deep within. Commitment is no longer a choice, it's a necessity. And grasp this commitment isn't merely about doing. It's about being in sync. It's choosing to act even when it's daunting. It's speaking up even when your voice trembles. It's trusting even when the destination is out of sight. It's rising each day with a quiet determination to walk your path, even if no one cheers you on, even if no one gets it. Because you're not following the herd. You're following a higher directive. You cannot bear the significance of this calling while still weighed down by the baggage of procrastination. The era of almost there is finished. The version of you that was still debating your readiness must now dissolve. The divine isn't seeking perfection, it's seeking your wholehearted eyes. Full commitment means you trust each step even when the entire staircase is hidden. It means doing what is right even when it's unpopular. It means trading comfort for purpose. And yes, commitment will demand sacrifices. It might cost you relationships, routines, old self-perceptions, and the fantasy of being in control. But what you receive in exchange is divine insight, a peace that defies logic, and a life rich with meaning that cannot be bought or faked. You weren't kept safe just to play it safe. You were chosen to carry illumination into shadowed places. And light doesn't ask for permission to shine. So, this is the moment you cease delaying, cease shrinking, and cease bargaining with your destiny. You've comprehended enough. You've waited sufficiently. Now, it is time to act. What's unfolding right now isn't merely personal, it's a global phenomenon. You sense it, a palpable shift in the very air. Old structures are giving way, deceptions are being unmasked, people everywhere are stirring, questioning long-held beliefs, yearning for something truer, something authentic. This is more than a phase, it's a spiritual renaissance. And you're not just a bystander, you are integral to it. You are a crucial component in this divine orchestration. You didn't enter this world by accident. You were sent here, at this precise juncture, for a mission grander than yourself. You've been awakened not just to find your own way out of the dark, but to challenge it with truth, compassion, and inner strength. The path you've trodden, the suffering you've overcome, the wisdom you've accrued, it wasn't solely for your own restoration. It was to empower you to assist others. Your life is a roadmap, a beacon, a signal to those still caught in the fog. And you're not flying solo. Across the globe, others like you are rising. The quiet ones, the misunderstood, the previously unseen. Individuals refined in solitude now stepping forward with clarity and passion. This is the emergence of the called, the handpicked, the awakened. It's no longer about status or visibility. It's about real impact. It's about unwavering commitment. It's about knowing who you are and why you were sent. This is a divine synchronization. You are perfectly aligned with heaven's timing. When you speak, your words carry influence. When you act, you shift the atmosphere. When you live your truth, others find the courage to rise alongside you. That's how awakening propagates, not by coercion, but by alignment. So don't belittle your presence. Don't mute your voice. You are not insignificant. You are not behind schedule. You are not unqualified. You are perfectly on time. And your rise at this very moment could be the catalyst that liberates generations.